Continuing our series coupling affordability with LGBTQ plus friendliness. Today we're covering one of the 13 colonies and home of the person who inspired the separation of church and state, Puritan theologian Roger Williams.
You're listening to Queer Money episode 405, and today we're sharing the most affordable LGBTQ friendly city in the state of Rhode Island. Now on with the show. The mission of Queer Money is to financially empower the LGBTQ plus community. Join us in thanking Capital One for supporting that mission. What up, Rhode Island? Or those of you who want to hear a little bit about Rhode Island.
And who doesn't?
Right. Rhode Island is a very interesting state. Many of us know it as the smallest state, and for that reason, it has a very small population. What
good things come in small packages, right,
yes,
David?
They do. One of the interesting things about the population of Rhode Island is the population of the state is 1.1 million, but the population of the metro area that dominates the state, that of Providence, is actually 1.2 million. And that's in part because the metro area there spills out over into Massachusetts because it's very close to the Massachusetts border.
Yeah.
Because of this, we didn't have a lot of cities to pick from, and 5 of the 7 cities that we actually looked at were cities that were in the Providence metro area. So we were able to break it down a little bit. We had to do some extra digging on the numbers for this one. The other
and
two
by we,
cities,
David means he.
Yeah. The other 2 cities that were a part of the list are ones that are on the coast and are extremely expensive. So we're not going to really talk much about the cities that are on the coast.
Yeah, and you said they're expensive even for U.S. standards, right?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Yeah, so okay. All right. So the runner-up for the great state of Rhode Island is Pawtucket. And not the home of Pawtucket Brewery from The Simpsons. That's a fake place.
That we know of. There may be one now.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. So why did Pawtucket come in number 2? Well, it has the lowest cost of living of all the cities that we were able to analyze for Rhode Island, came in at 101.6%, the lowest home values at $315,000, and the lowest rent at just under $1,500 a month. It also has the lowest average and median income, so that's somewhat of a drawback, at $65,000 and $47,000 respectively. And it came in number 2 for Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index at a kind of measly 66.
Yeah.
So not that amazing.
Yeah. This was tied with another city for number 2, but you're right. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Even places like Laramie, Wyoming,
yeah,
have a 77. So
totally.
Yeah.
So, but it is on the northern border of the winner, which is
the city of Providence itself. Tired of all the credit card offers you get from your current credit scoring app? Download CreditWise by Capital One today to avoid them. Now, as I mentioned in the outset, we had to break out the city of Providence into its various there are multiple cities that make up the metro area, yeah. Right? But the nice thing is that the city itself, city of Providence, it got a 100. It's the only city with a 100 in the on the MEI index. It did have the second lowest cost of living at 108.7. So it's about 8.79% higher than the national average. But home values came in at the second lowest in the state at 334, just behind Pawtucket, which
makes it a great opportunity maybe for people to grow their wealth, build their wealth pyramid with their primary property in Providence.
Yeah, and to be clear here, Pawtucket is actually a northern suburb of Providence. So these two are very closely tied. The rents in Providence are on the higher end, and that's probably because it's the city proper itself, right? So you're looking at maybe rents in downtown Providence being a little on the higher end, but the average rents came in at $1,920, which by U.S. standards is actually right in line with the average for your typical 2-bedroom apartment. The average and median income, though, did end up on the lower end for the state, in part because, as I mentioned, those 2 cities that are down on the coast, those have really high costs of living, really high home prices, but they also come with really high incomes. But Providence itself, median and average income came in at 75. I'm sorry. Yeah.
61,000.
Average. Yeah. Average was 75,000. Median was 61,000.
Exactly. It's interesting that, and we'll talk about this here in the next section about what else makes Providence great. But with it ranking so high on the HRC MEI index and having a lot of a great, as you'll talk soon, LGBTQ plus community and a lot to do there, it's interesting that Pawtucket comes in so low on its HRC MEI rating.
Yeah, it is. I think that, this happens a lot. You see cities where one portion of the city is very accepting and one portion is not. I think about the Denver metro area and how if you will go far south in the Denver metro area, you get into Douglas County and it's
might as well just be in Colorado Springs.
Right. It's pretty scary and pretty pale, male, and stale, let's put it that way. Exactly. And then you go towards downtown Denver, and downtown Denver is very accepting.
Very gay.
Same thing with, the Seattle metro area. So there are a lot of times you'll see pocket suburbs that are probably less accepting.
All right. So what else makes Providence, Rhode Island gay or amazing? Either way, that's a synonym for us. Well, obviously it's Rhode Island state capital. It's the first capital city to have an openly gay mayor, David Sicilian. It's also the home of Brown University, Rhode Island Institute of Design, and the prestigious culinary arts at Johnson & Wales University. So for that reason, there is a great food scene there, and not a whole lot of chain restaurants. So if you love to eat, which I love to do, that might be a place for us to move. And there are nearly 1,000 buildings on the National Register of Historic Places. So it's a historic city. Obviously, we said it's one of the original 13 colonies in the intro. All that original architecture, or much of that original architecture, is still standing there and is protected. It's known for its trendy coffee shops, intimate theaters, innovative restaurants, and just a great place to grab a drink, which is another thing that we love to do.
Yeah. Sounds like a cool vibe in this city.
Yeah. Right? We have to go on vacation here at least. There are several gay and even lesbian bars there from what we were able to research. Other things to note, it's only 3.5 hours, just under 3.5 hours to New York City, and just over an hour to Boston. So it's a great place to kind of go for, long weekends, or even for Boston, you can go for the night.
Was that by car or train?
By car. I didn't look at train.
Okay.
I forget that trains exist. And Pride this year is June 17, 2023 in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah. So I personally think after looking at all of this data and the information, Providence seems like a pretty cool place to go check out on vacation, or maybe think about moving to, especially if you're living in New York and you're finding it very expensive.
Yeah. This
could possibly be a lower cost area to go to and still have the gay vibe, the queer vibe that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And in general, it sounds like a great art scene, great design scene. The Rhode Island Institute of Design is where a lot of interior designers go, who end up going on to do big things.
So congratulations, Providence. Start your journey to financial independence with a checking and savings account that doesn't nickel and dime you with fees. Get a Capital One 360 checking or 360 performance savings account at Capital One today.
Thank you again for listening or watching another episode of the Queer Money Bonus Series, covering the most affordable and LGBTQ friendly cities in every state. Next week, we're covering the home state of this precious one. We will be covering the state of Pennsylvania. So join us. Oh, that's creepy.
If you'd like to see the results of all the cities in each state that we're analyzing, please go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities, or click the link in your podcast player for our growing analysis. Thank you and have a great weekend.